question one is, what were their motivations? I mean, it's hard to encapsulize, but do you think some of their motivations were definitely, was unique, authentic, or some people were using it for political gain, or you were viciously attacked. I've been doing some research. No, to go back, when my dad was on the school board in Princeton, he advocated for things like that. We had two good friends in our neighborhoods who stopped talking to my parents. They were polite, but the friendship was over immediately.
Really?
Just because he wanted to have sex ed, in schools at a younger age, and that was it. I mean,
we got well. This is later in the story, but we got rebuffed on when we tried. When I was at Rutgers, a K-3 program, which is really where this subject ought to begin. But yes, I really believed, after I listened to opponents, that they were acting in good faith. Yes, they were difficult, and sometimes their arguments didn't make any sense. But my approach was, of course, we'll listen to you. Please speak up. We'll try to ameliorate some of your fears. I think that for many people on this subject, it's basically a fear that they were going to lose their children, and that this education was going to persuade young people to begin to have sex at a lot earlier ages.
They truly believe that, though. You're right.
Yes, that was the great worry. Because in school, we teach people things, and mostly to enlighten them to do something. So this was contradictory. This was to help young people not do something. And that was a difficult concept for many people to understand. But we always, kept saying, there is, with this policy we recommend, would have an opt-out clause, so that people who feel very strongly can remove their children from certain parts of the curriculum with which they did not agree.
How would you introduce sex ed to K to third grade? There was a curriculum on that? I mean, you show pictures,
this
movies?
Wonderful program that it crashed and burned because Rutgers had written, with the help of authorities in the field, psychologists, social workers, doctors, we had everybody. But it was so incredibly controversial. The story was that there was a teacher. This is set in an urban district. It's called Learning About Family Life. And the teacher is pregnant. And so she talks about pregnancy, that kind of thing. Both how pregnancies are conceived, very simply, very appropriately. And then how the baby develops and how it is, finally comes and all that kind of thing. And it's just a beautiful curriculum. I reread it recently. It was lovely. And there was so much controversy about it that Rutgers, I think, destroyed the curriculum.
Do you think they caved in? They couldn't deal with it? They didn't want it anymore?
No, well, in a way we were a little ahead of our time. I think they should have just held it for a while. I think if you introduced it today, I did. I reread it because I wanted to see how controversial it is. It wouldn't be controversial.
Timing is a lot. I mean, sometimes you are ahead of you, and people don't see it, or there's people alive who are not alive then who are not alive today.
Yeah.
Who care more deeply.
Yeah.
And stuff.
But I think all these things, the earlier you introduce them, and you take the fear away from them, and people then begin to, for instance, to use the proper names of body parts. I don't know if you remember this, but so many people use sort of slang words
that's what you
for
learn
our
first.
Reproductive parts. Yeah,
that's what I learned in the streets, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But if you do it properly, so you call a vulva, a penis, that kind of thing, kids get very used to it, and they're comfortable with it. And so do their parents. So it works both. It works for older people.
What about metrics, though? I know that's hard to do, and you're having a lot of controversy with the program. But do you have any idea? Did you have some success, anecdotal? I mean, pregnancies went down.
Oh yes, I can tell you that in the U.S., thanks to a lot of different programs, it isn't just one program.
Variables,
by the way.
yeah, variables.
If you want to deal with a big social issue, you just take a lot of different programs, including abstinence-only programs here, as well as contraception. I believe that the rate of teen pregnancy is way down in this country. I don't think it's still higher than in other countries like France and Italy and European countries I think they're just more comfortable about the topic of human sexuality. But I do think we're getting better. I mean, as a nation, I don't know. The other thing that happens with these programs is sadly they don't get evaluated.
Right.
I mean, we had a policy, it went through, but no one, and the department did such excellent work about giving guidelines and all of those things to these districts, but we never go back to check. It should be written into a policy,
Yeah,
I think.
that's the one thing about this country, and part of it, I think, is because it's politics. People changing administrations, changing issues, new focuses, and what I call historical wisdom is lost. We don't evaluate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it should have been written in that every 5 years, the Department of Education really take a look at what's going on in these districts. This young woman who lives with me is a graduate of North Warren Hills High School. It's a very big high school up in Hunterdon County. I said, "What was your sex education class like?" She said, "Oh, I can't remember. I don't think we had any." But that is the kind of thing that if you evaluate it after 5 years and this district doesn't have it, then you find out why and how it can be improved, so that everybody benefits from